Hi, dear students. Welcome back to the Rise of Nationalism in Europe. In the last class, we discussed new conservatism, liberal nationalism, middle class, the revolutionaries, etc. Today, we are going to discuss two important topics. First one is the age of revolutions and the romantic imagination and national feeling. First of all, let us know what's meant by the age of revolutions. The period between 1830 to 1848, the 18 years period, is known as Age of Revolutions in the history of Europe. Remember, we are discussing the circumstances that ultimately led to the emergence of togetherness or emergence of national feeling in different countries of Europe. Here, we should understand that the revolutions have played a very important role in bringing the nationalism in different part of the Europe. The political and social transformation from monarchy or conservatism or feudalism to democracy or republic has undergone a lots of wars and revolutions. Remember, revolution means a change in the field of politics, economy, social, and all other field. Here, the age of revolutions indicates the republican revolts against European monarchies. Remember, liberalism or liberal nationalism or republican ideas led the revolt against the European monarchies. Monarchy means the rule of king, absolute monarchy. Most of the countries of Europe was ruled by monarchs, absolute monarchy. There was no enough freedom or liberty or human rights in most of these countries. So, the liberal nationalist or the republic loving individuals, they planned many revolt against the European monarchies. The countries like Sicily, France, Germany, Italy, Austrian Empire, and even Ottoman Empire, Ireland, Poland, almost all countries, even Greece, France, faced these kind of revolutions. So let us understand 2-3 important revolutions that ultimately paved the way for the emergence of nationalism in Europe. So, the idea liberalism that we already learned and the idea nationalism usually increasingly associated with the revolutions, especially in Italian and German states as well as the Ottoman Empire, Ireland and Poland. So most of these revolutions, this anti-monarchy movement were led by the liberal nationalist. The liberal nationalist means the group of people who belong to the middle class, educated middle class, including the professors, school teachers, clerks, and other commercial middle class people, because all these people are educated and they are led by the modern ideas. So they were against the monarchy and they were trying to bring liberalism, democracy, republic, etc. The first revolution took place in France in July 1830. So we have seen 1789, France undergone a revolution. But after the revolution, what happened? Society was totally changed. Monarchy was vanished. But Napoleon Bonaparte brought back again monarchy, absolute monarchy in France. So in 1830, there was a revolution in France by these liberal nationalists against the monarchy. The Bourbon kings who had been restored to power with the Vienna Congress were now overthrown by these liberal revolutionaries. We have seen it. Napoleon Bonaparte brought back all the countries, the powers owned by the Bourbon dynasty and Bourbon kings. And these Bourbon kings and dynasty was overthrown in 1830 by liberal revolutionaries. They had installed a constitutional monarchy with Louis Philippe at its head. So monarchy and constitutional monarchy, we have to understand the difference. Monarchy means everything, legislature, executive, judiciary, and every decision of the government is absolutely decided by the king. That is called monarchy or absolute monarchy. What is constitutional monarchy? The king rules the country based on a written constitution. That means the powers of the king is restricted by a constitution. So constitutional monarchy is a one step forward towards the modern ideas. So here once Metternich had remarked that when France gets sneezes, the rest of the Europe catches cold. So it's a very important what is English sayings usually used. When France sneezes, the Europe catches cold. That means any event or any movement that happen in France will suddenly spread the other part of Europe. So soon after this 1830 July Revolution of France, it started in Brussels and Belgium, breaking away from the United Kingdom of Netherlands. So Belgium, we had seen, it was a part of UK or Netherlands. Soon after this revolution of France, this Belgium broke away from the United Kingdom of Netherlands. So first is French Revolution, next this revolution in United Kingdom of Netherlands. Another important revolution that brought the nationalist feeling, especially among the educated elite of Europe, was the Greek War of Independence. Greece, small country, but known for its great legacy and culture. Actually, this Greece was the part of the Ottoman Empire since 15th century. When this spark of nationalism or struggle, revolution started other part of Europe, the same spark started in Greece also, which began in 1821. The nationalists of Greece, they got support from other Greek people who were living outside country. And even the Western Europeans also had sympathy for the Greek culture. So many poets and artists, they lauded Greece as a cradle of European civilization, and they brought the public opinion to support the struggle against a Muslim empire. So Ottoman Empire has controlled the Greek. So the poets and artists and the Western European people, even the Greek people who are living outside Europe, all they supported the new movement in Greece. The English poet Lord Byron organized even funds and later went to fight in the war where he died of fever in 1824. So ultimately in 1832, the Treaty of Constantinople recognized Greece as an independent nation left from the Ottoman Empire. So dear children, just keep in mind these three important revolutions in your mind. The first one is the French Revolution of 1830. The second one I told you, the Belgium breaking away from the United Kingdom of Netherlands, and third one is the Greek War. Dear students, now let's move to the next topic of today, that is the romantic imagination and national feeling. Understand what is meant by romantic imagination. Here, the romantic imagination openly means the creative literature, a new movement in the creation of good literature in the form of poetry, stories, music, etc. Romanticism, is a movement in the art and literature that originated in the 18th century, which emphasizes the inspiration and subjectivity. So don't confuse these ideas. Romantic imagination directly means the creative ideas of literature, especially art, architecture, poetry, stories, music, drama, etc. So nothing but cultural development. Romanticism. So romanticism is considered as a literary movement that happened in the field of art and literature, which happened in 18th century. So this both romantic imagination means nothing but a new awaken in the field of art and architecture. See, we are discussing about the emergence of nationalism in Europe. So nationalism is brought to Europe, or the emergence of nationalism happened not only through the wars or not only through the reforms or events, even the culture or literature has played a very important role in changing the mindset of the people. We are discussing how the Europe transferred from monarchy to republic, or feudalism to democracy, or conservatism to liberalism. This is what we are discussing. So in this procedure, the culture, the literature has played a very important role. Romanticism, as I told you, it's a movement that happened in the field of art and literature, played a very important role bringing nationalist sentiments. Romantic artists and poets, they criticized the glorification of reason and science. Remember, the literature has a very important power to change the perception of people. We have seen it in the matter of French Revolution. We have seen role of philosophers in French Revolution. Rousseau, Montesquieu, Voltaire, we discussed it last year. Same thing here. Even literature and culture played a very important role in bringing the new ideas in the mind of European people. So these romantic artists and poets, they criticized glorification of reason. Instead, they began to speak about emotions, intuitions and mystical feelings. Actually, their effort was to create a sense of shared collective heritage. Every one of us have a shared culture, a shared legacy or heritage. This has to be highlighted by these literatures. So their effort was to create a sense of shared collective heritage, a common cultural past as the basis of nation. So we have seen in emergence of nationalism in India, the reinterpretation of history, folklore, symbols, fiction, how they helped to bring nationalism in India. Same kind, these literatures of Europe, they tried to bring a common sense of shared collective heritage, common cultural past, and as a basis of the nation. So, other romantics such as German philosopher John Gottfried Herder, he claimed that true German culture was to be discovered among the common people. So, different literary heads like the German philosopher John Gottfried Herder, he said that German culture was to be discovered among the common people. So culture play an important role in bringing national spirit or togetherness. So he said it was through folk songs, folk poetry, folk dances that the true spirit of the nation was popularized. Same like India. If you analyze the old folk songs, folk dances, poetry, songs, all shows that we have a collective identity. We belong to a same family or same culture. That is actually what we wanted to bring in the mind of the people who think about nationalism. So collecting and recording these forms of folk culture was essential to protect the nation building. Same like India. The emphasis on vernacular language and the collection of local folklore was not just to recover the ancient national spirit but also to carry the modern nationalist message to large audience who were mostly illiterate. So vernacular language means local languages. So local language literature, local folklore, all these brought the ancient national spirit. In ancient time, few years before, we all were together. We had lots of things as common. That was brought as a message to the large people of Europe who were mostly illiterate. We can see this literary movement very clearly in Poland. A person called Karol Kurpinski, for example, he celebrated the national struggle through his operas and music, turning folk dances like the Polonaise and Mazurka into national symbols. So it's two important folk dances of Poland, Polonaise and Mazurka. So these folk dances were brought to the place of people and showed them about the common cultural identity or as a nationalist symbols. So we are trying to understand that how the romantic nationalism or how the romantic imagination or cultural imagination brought the spirit of nationalism. Language too played an important role in developing national sentiments. Language, so the Polish language, which was forced out of schools, and Russian language was imposed everywhere. So in 1831, an armed rebellion against Russia took place, which was ultimately crushed. So afterwards, there were much stress or demand for the vernacular language as well as the Polish language. So Polish language was even used in churches and even religious instructions. So as a result, a large number of priests and bishops were put in jail or sent to Siberia by Russian authorities. So here we are trying to understand that how Russian government tried to control or suppress the Polish language, and later how the people struggled against this, and how the Polish language came to be seen as a symbol of the struggle against Russian dominance. So in India we have seen that the fight for regional language, or even sometimes we can see the fight against Hindi as a national language in some part of South India. So same like even language also played in Europe as a media to create or develop the nationalist sentiments. In this case, you have to remember only about this Polish language, which was removed from the schools by Russian government. But later, many places, the people of Poland, they struggled to re-establish the same language. So, dear children, just understand here how the romantic imagination or creative literary ideas played an important role in creating nationalism, national spirit, or togetherness in the mind of Europeans. So today we have discussed these two important parts. Kindly read the lesson again and again and underline the important points. It is little difficult to digest, but if you understand the concept, you can bring many points. Okay, thank you.